Hello, and welcome to the Bitcoin Hour. I'm Dave Bradley. I am, somebody asked last time, I'm smoking a very nice cigar here, the Monte Cristo 1935 Anniversary Edition, made in Nicaragua, and sitting outside on a slightly windy but nice sunny day in Calgary, Alberta here. And today we're going to be talking about a concept that I call the lube industry. And this is an entire industry that makes up a pretty significant portion of the world where all these jobs really do is make it so that it hurts less when the government fucks you. And so in this group in the lube industry, you have your the majority of accountants, the majority of lawyers, and the majority of regulatory consultants of all different kinds. And these people can be very helpful. They make it a lot easier to deal with the government. And part of the reason that these people are even needed is because the government is so bad, like they are with everything else. In this case, they're so bad at communicating what it is that they actually want from people. So you need special help from people who went to school for sometimes as much as a decade to decode how much you owe them for the work that you've done. And you need special help to make sure that you're not crossing any lines legally. You need special help to make sure that you're following all the regulations of whatever your particular industry is. And there really isn't any industry out there where you're not almost immediately going to run into a government roadblock. And in most cases, it will help a lot to have professional help. And so this entire group of people don't really need to be doing what they're doing. We've talked on some previous episodes about the government's tendency to drastically misallocate the wealth that it confiscates. And, in the best case scenario, like what we've got here going in Alberta, they confiscate wealth from us through inflation as well as directly through taxes. And both those things get spent disproportionately in other parts of the country. And, the knee-jerk reaction to that is that that must be bad because, we're sending all of our money to Quebec and they get to spend it. But the fact is, we're probably better off with the government not spending any money in our province because when they do spend money, they really, on average, just make things worse for everyone. And so that's where this army of consultants springs from, is the fact that the government is so bad at what they do that regular people can't even understand what it is that they're trying to do. And so this is obviously an issue because it's a major drain on the costs of basically every business. It probably adds, I would say as a broad estimate, somewhere in the range of like 30 to 40% to the total cost of operating just about any business. And so think about how compounding that would be. The magic of compound interest works in reverse. If every business had to spend 30% less on regulatory costs and instead could spend that money developing their own business, growing their business, launching a product, marketing, all the things that you actually need to run a real business. And instead, they're spending them on these very highly educated midbrains generally who are essentially just expert rule followers and can teach you how to effectively follow the rules in order to be robbed for the lowest amount possible. So think about where we would be as a society, as a world, if we were not wasting so much money, not only on the money that the government steals from us and then reallocates in very stupid ways, but also on the mountain of consultants that we need to even understand our interactions with the government. And you tell me, what do you think? Would the world be better off if we had 90% fewer accountants and lawyers? I think the answer to that is pretty clear. Even accountants and lawyers would probably tell you that it would be. So that's the lube industry. You probably know a lot of people who work in the lube industry, and they are probably very nice people, but ultimately they're not adding value to the world. And removing the government's ability to print money and tax us through inflation, redistribute our resources through inflation, will remove their ability to create these massive walls and barriers to starting a business, to running a business, to growing your business. And these mountains of consultants, these armies of midbrains will no longer be necessary in the current roles that they're in. And hopefully they can start doing something useful. Where will society be with this many more people doing useful things instead of interpreting regulations line by line? So yeah, I'm getting a notification here that just like the last few times, unfortunately, the government has taken the remaining 55 and a half minutes of this hour and redistribute it to people who did not earn that time. So unfortunately, that's all you get for today.